A few months ago, after changing my antidepressants, I found myself lying awake at night thinking about strange questions. You know the kind, the questions that sound ridiculous at first, but the more you think about them, the more unsettling they become. One question kept coming back to me. What would actually happen if the world lost electricity tomorrow? Not for an hour, not for a day. What if it simply disappeared? No internet, no mobile phones, no GPS, no banking, no card payments, no supermarkets being restocked, no way to communicate with most of the world. At first it sounded like the plot of a disaster movie, but the deeper I went down the rabbit hole, the more I realized something unsettling. This isn't science fiction. Something very similar has already happened once before, and scientists believe it will happen again. The event is known as the Carrington Event. And if a storm of the same magnitude struck Earth today, it could become one of the most disruptive events in modern history. This week's curiosity started with a simple question. What if the world lost electricity tomorrow? To answer that question, we need to travel back to September 1859. A British astronomer named Richard Carrington was observing the sun. At the time, it seemed like a fairly ordinary day. But while sketching sunspots, Carrington witnessed something nobody had ever recorded before. An enormous flash erupted from the sun's surface. Within moments, a colossal amount of energy had been launched into space. What Carrington had just witnessed was one of the largest solar eruptions ever observed by humanity. The sun had fired a gigantic cloud of charged particles directly toward Earth. Scientists call this a coronal mass ejection. Think of it as a billion-ton cloud of electrified plasma traveling through space at incredible speed. Normally, these eruptions take several days to reach us. This one arrived in just 17 hours. When it hit Earth, the results were extraordinary. Telegraph systems around the world began malfunctioning. Operators received electric shocks. Some telegraph stations caught fire. Messages were transmitted even after power supplies had been disconnected. The electrical currents induced by the storm were so powerful that the equipment started operating itself. Meanwhile, something even stranger was happening in the sky. Auroras illuminated huge areas of the planet. Normally, these colorful lights are only visible near the poles, but during the Carrington event, they could be seen as far south as Cuba and Colombia. People woke up in the middle of the night believing it was sunrise. Others reportedly read newspapers outside using only the light from the auroras. The Earth's magnetic field was literally glowing. At this point, you might be thinking, so what? A few telegraph wires sparked and some equipment caught fire. And in 1859, you'd be right. The world survived. Life continued. The reason is simple. Almost nobody depended on electricity. The telegraph was one of the most advanced electrical systems on Earth. There were no satellites, no smartphones, no internet, no GPS, no electrical banking systems, no cloud computing, no data centers. The world of 1859 was incredibly resilient because it wasn't connected. The world of today is very different. Electricity isn't just something that powers our homes. It's the invisible foundation supporting modern civilization. Every text message, every online purchase, every navigation app, every flight, every supermarket delivery, every bank transfer, every hospital, every emergency service, every one of them depends on electricity. And that's why another Carrington-level event would be such a serious problem. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Your phone alarm doesn't go off. You reach for your mobile, no signal. You check your internet connection, nothing. You switch on the television, black screen. You try to pay for fuel. Card machines aren't working. Cash machines aren't working. Within a few hours, confusion begins spreading. Most people would assume it was a temporary outage. After all, power cuts happen all the time. But this wouldn't be a normal power cut. This would be something much bigger and far more difficult to fix. The first systems likely to feel the impact would be the satellites orbiting above our heads. Most of us rarely think about satellites. They're invisible, silent, thousands of miles away. Yet modern life depends on them every single day. Every time your phone checks its location, every time a plane crosses an ocean, every time a financial transaction is time-stamped, every time a shipping company tracks a delivery, satellites are involved. And during a major solar storm, satellites become incredibly vulnerable. In 2022, a relatively small geomagnetic storm destroyed dozens of newly launched Starlink satellites. That wasn't a Carrington-level event. It was merely a reminder of how exposed our technology really is. A storm similar to the Carrington Event could threaten satellites across low Earth orbit. If enough of them failed, GPS systems could become unreliable, navigation would be disrupted, supply chains would struggle, air travel could face significant challenges, communication networks could become unstable. The effects wouldn't be immediate, they would spread, slowly, relentlessly, like removing bricks from the foundation of a building. The first 24 hours would likely be dominated by confusion. Most people would expect things to return to normal quickly. Businesses would temporarily close. Schools would send people home. News organizations would try to explain what was happening. But as hours turned into days, concern would begin to grow. After 48 hours, supermarkets would likely start seeing panic buying. People would begin stocking up on food and water. Fuel would become harder to obtain. Supply chains would start feeling the strain. Many stores only hold a few days' worth of stock. Most modern delivery systems operate with remarkable efficiency. But that efficiency comes with a weakness. They depend on constant communication, timing, and coordination. Remove those systems and shortages begin appearing surprisingly quickly. By 72 hours, the situation becomes far more serious. Many homes only keep a few days of food. Most people carry very little cash. Very few of us have ever experienced a world without instant communication. For the first time, millions of people would be forced to confront a reality we rarely think about. Modern civilization works because thousands of invisible systems work together every second of every day. And when enough of those systems fail at the same time, society begins to slow down. Hospitals would continue operating using backup generators. Emergency services would prioritize critical situations. Governments would attempt to coordinate recovery efforts. But one problem stands above all others: the electrical grid itself. When geomagnetic storms interact with Earth's magnetic field, they can create powerful electrical currents inside the ground. Those currents can flow directly into the power grid, and that's where the real danger begins. The most vulnerable pieces of equipment are massive high-voltage transformers. These machines are the backbone of modern electricity networks. Without them, electricity cannot be efficiently transmitted across large distances, and unfortunately, they are not easy to replace. A mobile phone can be manufactured in days. A transformer can take months or even years. Some are custom built, some weigh hundreds of tons, and there are not warehouses filled with spare replacements waiting for disaster. If enough transformers were damaged simultaneously, recovery would not be measured in days or weeks. It could be measured in years. Some estimates suggest that a severe event could leave parts of affected regions dealing with disruptions for many years. That possibility is one reason governments and scientists take space weather so seriously. The good news is that we are not completely defenseless. Scientists constantly monitor the sun. Space agencies track solar activity. Power companies have emergency procedures designed to reduce damage. Warning systems exist. Preparation plans exist. People are working on the problem, but there is an uncomfortable truth hidden inside all of this. The sun doesn't care. It doesn't know we have satellites. It doesn't know we have power grids. It doesn't know we have hospitals, banking systems, or the internet. The sun will continue doing what it has done for billions of years. And every now and then, it reminds us who is really in charge. Perhaps the strangest thing about the Carrington Event isn't that it happened. It's that most people have never heard of it. We spend enormous amounts of time worrying about asteroids, supervolcanoes, and science fiction disasters. Yet one of the greatest threats to modern civilization has already happened before. The sun has done this, and one day it will do it again. The Carrington Event happened once before. It will happen again. The only question is whether we're prepared when it does. Before you go, let me know in the comments, what would be the very first thing you would do if you knew the power was about to disappear for a month? I'd genuinely love to know. And if you enjoyed this journey down the curiosity rabbit hole, please hit the like button, subscribe, and join us for more fascinating questions every week. Next time on The Curiosity Effect, what if the moon disappeared overnight? Trust me, the answer is far stranger than you think. And if you'd like to support The Curiosity Effect, you can save 10% on Neil & Wolf products using code HEADHUNTERS10. The affiliate link is available in the description below. Your support helps us continue creating more videos like this. Thank you for watching. Explore, question, discover, fundamental.